The karma that could have been banned that you mentioned.
Please, just do a battle. Oh my god, imagine that.
This would be wild.
It's like the champion that had Hyper before Hyper even existed.
I mean, Birdall is
called Silver Bolts.
He's feeling himself tonight. But the Aurelia, let's wait and see where the swaps go. I do think this will be Cassiopeia picked for Rise in the mid lane, and it will go top. Birdall, like Closer, two peas in a pod, and that they were very famous for their Aurelia.
Exactly, yeah, both of them.
And, I mean, they got their start on this pick. Closer's already had his Aurelia moment earlier in the tournament. It's going to be Birdall's turn this time against the Gnar. Wukong could play around top side in this draft because Ashenheimer should be able to stave off any pressure bottom side alone. And pre-6, not going to be easy for Vi to actually do anything down there as long as they don't overextend. Cassiopeia could deal with that early game Rise pressure that we normally see too. I think this game is about can Genji out-macro Live Sandbox, or is Live Sandbox's comp just too big to fail? It feels like it's too big to fail.
Well, we'll see whether it is going to work. Some really interesting picks. The Ashe Heimerdinger, definitely the flagship Ashe lane that we saw here in the LCK. Peanut fans here in LoL Park getting their money's worth for today's match as we go into the third and final game. I'm not sure how it's going to go, one way or the other. I love the Cassiopeia pick. I think it's so, so cool. Miasma really does change how you can sort of play the game, right? Very similar to champions like Taliyah preventing dashes.
Yeah.
Miasma does it in a way that is
even harder,
a lot more difficult to do anything.
The grounding is massive. And when you are dealing with a composition with a Vi and a Gnar that are so essential for this composition, the Miasma may just simply halt this composition in its tracks on an objective setup. You're going to have to break through Miasma and Heimerdinger turrets, and watch out for that Aurelia flank. Wukong, Ashe Arrow.
There's a lot of options. A lot of things could go wrong here, but we'll see whether Genji can handle it as we hop onto the rift. All right, fans raising their voices. You can hear a bit of desperation from the Genji fans over the other side of LoL Park from where we are, as Pays takes a bit of damage towards this bottom side. The Archers facing off as Pays just outside the brush. Made sure that Envy stayed interested.
It's going to actually get a back out of him here, and Closer going to get a little bit of ward value. Trade backs.
It was a very old Cassiopeia skin, I believe.
I didn't actually see which one it was.
I think it was one of the release ones.
We'll get a look eventually. We're going to watch this one a lot, no doubt.
Oh
yeah. It's one of the ones that just looks kind of like it's a very old classic skin. I like the older skins like this that aren't too frou-frou, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's like very clean.
Yeah, and it's not too much change. Like, you know that's a snake lady.
Yeah.
You know, like we are well and truly sure. Doesn't have like a epically large like wedding dress or something like that that entirely covers up the fact that she's a snake.
It's very clear she won't be wearing any shoes this game.
Yeah.
As it is Conquer for her. No Shocker Scorch as well.
Yeah, a lot of conquering going on here. Full house, Conquer is full of comets. Like it. Lava. Managed to take down BDD's Cassiopeia last time this was attempted.
I remember that game. It was not good.
Yeah.
It was cool until it wasn't.
I do have some news, though, as far as the solo queue research is concerned.
Yeah.
Closer has relatively recently played this champ on the account that we know of to a victory. It was against... Not even entirely sure, to be perfectly honest. I think it was in his game... Okay, never mind. We've got Doran getting taken down extraordinarily low. Birdall going all in. Never mind. I think it was against the Renekton. So not exactly great for my research on the Closer's ability to counteract the Rise matchup.
Yeah. Fortunate, but have seen a lot of the Cassiopeia wave clear come into effect, and side laning can be very annoying to deal with, and her ultimate is very strong in team fights, especially when you have things like the Gnar and Vi.
Well, now Twin Fangs are going to come through as Closer is able to get a lot of damage back. Nice little grounding here as he does manage to land the Noxious Blast. have to remember all of those abilities. Man, it's been a long time since I've casted Cassiopeia games. Peanut fighting the wolves, but I believe there is a Wukong in the area, and yeah, going to get a bit of damage. The flash has to be used.
So,
Oh, yeah, another attempt here towards this bottom side as Pace tries to get the damage back, but isn't quite able to. There's now Chovy moving over, but Willer going to avoid the Q and is able to slink out of there.
So a flashless Cassiopeia versus a flashless Vi here. Willer having a nice flash advantage for potentially a gank follow-up at level 6. If he can get there fast enough. Also taking away a lot of Peanut's farm, so he's going to hit level 6 a lot faster in this game. It's pretty significant. Willer has... I mean, the guy was always good when he was Chovy's bodyguard. Now he's trying to kill him in this particular case. But it's funny how Willer has just suddenly developed so quickly into a player who has good macro sense, will absolutely play around win conditions early. And I feel like in the first few games at Live Sandbox, we couldn't really fully say that. But as the season's gone on, he looks better and better.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's been very impressive. As Bertel not able to find the flawless duet, therefore will take a hyper proc on his way out. Doran grabbing Meganar to get a bit of that health back and has control back of this lane. Pays without his cleanse, and Delight with no heal here towards this bottom side, but it's Cannon Wave, and so the Varus going to be able to make his way in just fine. Lock down some farms. Flawless duet once again going wide. Maybe it's a bait this time.
Bait!
As, yeah, Doran gonna have to hop, skip, and jump to get out of here. Sorry, just the hop and the skip.
Not quite the jump.
No.
Don't bounce on anybody's heads.
No, you don't get a triple, unfortunately. As Chovy with a fair bit of control here in this mid lane. A couple of minions still left for him to pick up. But the Ryze not exactly running away with it or anything like that, as we've seen Ryzes do in early stages. So the Cassiopeia doing a job for now.
You end up using your cooldowns on the wave as Ryze and then get caught. You know, there's a lot of power here as closer. It could do so much damage. We saw it in that last exchange onto Peanut. And gotta be so careful about how you play this one out, as the first objective here should be Live Sandboxes to take. Willer doesn't have level 6 just yet. He should be hitting 5 relatively soon. And then we are going to have that group up here with the Prio. They have bottom side. Delight trying for a gank here.
Well, there's the Mantra Q. Remember, they have no flashes. And look at that. The Miasma was threatened, and Closer walking away is enough to get him out of dodge. As Kyle going to avoid getting hit by the piercing arrow. Going to have a fair bit of control there as Bertel just having a great time here towards this top side. Of course, Aurelia in the early levels against the Gnar does generally do that. But we've seen this counter pick attempted quite a few times and fail.
Yeah.
So far, for Bertel, the CS advantage is telling us that it's working.
It really is. And now, you know, as this Drake, hold that thought.
Great grenade to come through onto Pays here, but no follow-up. Envy not able to get in range.
Pays taking 2/3 of his health bar here. The wave is pushing. You saw the Ryze was missing for a little while. You have Cassiopeia with Prio before that. And you know, okay, there's no way Chovy comes over here and helps out. Peanut a level down because a lot of his jungle is stolen. This is pretty much a guaranteed Drake here.
Oh, this is cute though, as Peanut. Oh, he doesn't get the Vault Breaker. And Willer and Closer just going to secure this dragon. So, once again, Live Sandbox grabbing the first Drake. Next one going to be a Cloud, so no Cloud Soul. Be a bit safe, that's fine. As Doran, oh dear. Vanguard's Edge coming in, and there's the Blade Surge. Finds it with the W, and Bertel grabs the solo kill first blood for Live Sandbox.
Oh, Bertel, another solo kill here on another game of Aurelia. He's been gifted by his squad, his coaching staff for you trust in him. And he's going to deliver. Gets the solo kill here, picks up those minions, so a lot of gold going into his pocket. This is already a side lane win condition here. What will be a very strong 1-3-1 later on in the game. The Gnar becomes vulnerable. And this is not the end, because Willer's going to hit level 6 soon, gets the Drake without it. Live Sandbox have advantages all across the map. I mean, you could argue, I guess in the mid lane, that things are going well for Chovy in terms of CS, but not having control of that mid wave when the Drake is taken is why they get to take it without even a fight. As this is the duet finally hitting Doran. No Narbar after this. It's just doomed. Instantly flash ult from Bertel, and he gets him with the W at the last moment. Takes him down.
Absolutely perfectly played here by Bertel, as Willer is pretty happy with how Bertel went. Nice Bertel is what he said.
Live Sandbox coaching staff is so hyped, man. This is such a monumental win if they can upset Gen G tonight, and just one game away.
Yep, and the Live Sandbox players, definitely cool kids. Coaching staff losing their minds, not keeping it cool whatsoever. There was a bit of panicking going on.
Cool parents always panic.
Yeah, cool. The parents of cool kids always panic. Well, that's how it goes.
Cool kids do scary stuff. That's why they're cool.
If you were a cool kid, you'd know. As the grenade is going to go entirely wide. Chovy, I think, noticed. May have not. As Doran does find that little bit of CS with the edge of his boomerang. And he's caught now once again. Bertle. Oh man, another kill here, and this lane is just 100% donezo. It is just over. Bertle is going to find it. Petrifying Gaze is going to connect there in the mid lane. Decent Rune Prison to come down as Willa looks for it, but that's optimistic to say the least. Just another Cyclone going into the wind.
But that should be a faster group up here for Herald for Live Sandbox. Chovy has to flash, he backs away, and they just have fast track here. Now Willer used his ultimate, Closer used his ult here. Brodal has his back up, but still a very difficult fight for Gen G to take here without positional advantage. And they're going to leave Ashe bottom side here, Live Sandbox.
All right, well, we're going to go for the engage as Closer. Yeah, the Miasma not really doing too much this time, and Paze is going to lock down that kill. As it didn't work out in that particular moment. Now Gen G are the team that do have control of that Herald.
Not entirely sure how Envy used his arrow there. I may have missed it, but just expecting that, okay, I could stay bottom side here and my arrow is still going to do something. We have the faster group up, but with no ult for the Cassiopeia, which really goes poorly here in this exchange. Just goes down. Flashless, of course, from the last exchange. Gen G taking a little bit of damage here and aren't going to actually commit to sticking around with this full health Aurelia who has ult available. So at the end of the day, when the dust settles here, Live Sandbox will still get their prize.
Yeah, and I think it's all to do with the fact that Bertle is so huge.
Yeah.
Moved first into this river. Doran not actually capable of heading into Fog of War right now. And off the back of Bertle and his lead, they are able to grab Shelly. So we'll see where she does go. I would love to see it used in the Aurelia lane to keep that one pushed in. But it is up to Live Sandbox, of course. We have a look at this one more time. We'll see whether an arrow is going to fly out.
Yeah, look at the collapse as well. So quick. Like arrows used elsewhere.
Yeah, no, it was used prior to this, I think. Yeah, I was thinking we had the previous team fight.
Maybe to try to stop a rotation up from Paze or Delight is what I would guess, but either way, arrow not available there. I don't think it saves anything.
Oh, there it is. Found it again. As, you know, almost connects. Peanut also watches it fly by majestically.
If he hits Chovy with that and then Closer ults him, maybe it's a kill.
It's possible. Claws Duet going to miss this time as Bertle's still looking to put on the pressure. Steel Cap's working out for Doran relatively well. Peanut moving over. Spotted on that ward as Bertle's going to have to get back underneath his turret. But he's happily going to do so.
45 seconds till this Drake does spawn here, so Live Sandbox trying to get in position to set up for the turrets for this. Make sure that with Burdal here, the top side doesn't go down before this critical objective. Ashe Arrow going to be coming up around the same time. This is a really critical fight. They're going to give the money to Closer here, which, again, I like the idea of the Aurelia, but it's not an option when he is collapsed on there on the top side.
Yep, wave state wasn't great, and they want to use it in order to get control of the Drake as well. And I do like that, using it for mid priority.
TP available here for Burdal. He has that advantage, but I don't think he's going to need to use it necessarily here because they have that mid prio. As the Drake spawns here in 5. Can hide where he is, though, if he gets this back off. Looks like he was delayed.
Oh, Peanut will be caught out. There's the Cyclone once again, right off cooldown. Will is going to be able to find it here as he gets over, flashes on top of Peanut, and it's a solo kill in the end. Delight has to flash as well, and Live Sandbox, you have earned this dragon.
Yep, that was really well played by Willer. Follows him there on the blast cone, gets over, and now he knows there's no help for Doran. Burdal's like, I'm coming to teleport to kill you. It's down a level, there's Meganar, but Doran is in a dangerous place on the map right now where this Drake goes down for free.
He's sort of walking behind the turret, just knew that he had Meganar, and Burdal couldn't fight him, so just hanging out, having a good time. So Paze, let's see whether this piercing arrow can get a steal. Because I think they had vision, but he's not even going to go for it. Yeah, and that is Drake number 2 taken. Ocean Soul, not exactly the highest value.
Yeah,
but, you're okay with it.
We went from Hex Tech back to Ocean.
Would have been Chemtech, you know, and that would have been the real problem factor.
So Peanut's trying to clear this ward on a control ward. Willer comes in on top of him, Qs, knocks him up here. Then the second part of the knockup allows him to get on top of the blast cone, and Delight gets caught by an arrow, has to flash as well. So he is able to get so much value out of your trades of flash for Delights, I guess you could argue here, but takes Peanut out before the objective. Doran also you know, on the top side of the map, didn't have his teleport, so had to walk back from that awkward back timing. Is vulnerable here in the long lane. Arrow coming.
Arrow soaring, but isn't going to find Doran. I liked the aim.
They're going to send the Varus top side here, but 45 seconds for Envy and Kyle to maybe try to get a plate down. I don't know how healthy that last one is. I don't think they'll get much from this. See how well Liv Sandbox react once again to the lane swap. It did stifle their lead in the previous game.
Yep, Doran spots the fact that that ward is in the brush. We'll see whether some clever alcoving can come through as Gen G do avoid it. There's the flash as Doran looks for the wallop. Does now have the ultimate available and gets it, but it doesn't really do too much. Still, it's going to work out as Pace stands his ground. Closer moving up towards the top side as Peanut has to flash as he's scared of the Heimerdinger, especially considering the fact that there is a snake hiding on the map as well. Doran looking for Envy.
Closer's teleport was interrupted there. He wanted to come over and help out.
That's what it was.
His teleport's interrupted by Chovy, so he can't actually get up there and help out despite Willer's great play.
Arrow. Cool. We are going to have a look towards the bottom side as Envy is punished for throwing arrows at Chovy. You're not allowed to do that, apparently. Doran is going to come after you, and he does do so. So that's a solo kill in the end.
This game is falling apart for Liv Sandbox on this lane swap super hard. They're losing the bottom side there with Doran. Mid, Chovy can hold on the pressure extremely well. Top side, they fail to get the teleport there to save the lane. They end up losing 2. And suddenly, Gen G pulling ahead big time in terms of the lead here. And this Aurelia feeling much less strong than she was moments ago because she's kind of catching these waves and behind the tempo. So no kill pressure anymore. Down an item here as she returns to lane. So Gen G have really said, hey, let's do this lane swap again. Threw them off last time. This time it's even stronger with the setup we have. And they hit it so well. Last time it was pretty telegraphed. It was like, oh, we were swapping because we're doomed. This time they kept it a secret. It looked like a normal back.
Worked out extraordinarily well. As we have a look at it one more time, it looked like Doran was looking for the Gnar play, but he had a couple of seconds left on the ulti.
By the way, Chovy realm warped on top of the Cassiopeia to stop the teleport. Incredible play.
Man.
He sees it, and he knows exactly where Cassiopeia is standing. Watch this. Oh my god, Chovy the god.
As soon as the teleport happened, as soon as the teleport started being channeled, he's like, I got this, I got this, I got this. That was great. As Doran also being a bit sneaky, lands the first boomerang to kill Envy.
Yeah, got caught trying to arrow Chovy, just out too far in the lane. Good punish here from Doran.
Yeah.
This game is completely in Gen G's hands right now. The ball is in their court.
Certainly is, but it's only 1.4 thousand gold. You know, it's not really translating into gold advantages, especially considering Liv Sandbox sitting on a couple of dragons as well. So they're not going to have to worry about that. So still early days, but so far with the way Gen G have played around their lanes, certainly is looking good. And when you've got Chovy on a champion where he can just, you know, sit farm and become a machine gun, you do certainly feel like Gen G are in a position that they're very happy with. Liv Sandbox fans, don't panic, because you know, the cool kids don't.
No, they don't. Very delayed rod here for Chovy this game, so advantage goes to Closer in that regard at the moment.
Yep.
As we are going to see this Herald rather taken. Bertol trying to get these surges online. This could be a huge opportunity for the Aurelia flank.
Well, the arrow is just going to part the sea as, okay. And that is just a lot of damage. W-empowered Q, that's going to do it after the Chains of Corruption landed, and another piercing arrow as well. Pace! Oh man, looking real good here.
He did it in the face of an Aurelia that has ult as well. He just wasn't scared. He trusted in his team. He walks forward and sets it up. There's no punish. He's just behind the wall. He has a great understanding of these ranged champions, man. His Varus has looked so good so far. I mean, we know his Zeri is good. We saw it in Challengers. We know how good his movement is, but you put him on these ranged champions like the Varus, the Jhin, he just has such a good understanding of how to kill someone from so far away. And he's like, oh, you're going to channel W? You're dead. Goodbye. Easy peasy. You guys think you can test this? Lol?
Yeah, no. And he's also a very a bit of a gifted Aphelios player as well, you know. So finding those Gravita Moonlight Vigils and stuff like that fits into the play style. And so Pace now just going to join Shirley and Chovy and try and take down this outer turret in the mid lane. Gen G now with this composition, This kind of map control is very, very powerful because as soon as you walk into Fog of War and there's potentially a peanut there, you're going to have a really rough time. So Liv Sandbox is going to have to play carefully as this game goes on, but the 1-3-1 is certainly a thing to be feared.
Yeah, and if Gen G just group up super hard here and start losing control of these sides, it can be a big problem because Gen G are grouped as 4 here to get a Ocean Drake.
First one as well. Like,
yeah.
It's the most meaningless.
It is the most meaningless, as Closer is going to grab this whole turret uncontested for free. And yes, Birdall is catching minions down here on this turret, but he should be able to defend this no problem. Look at the rotation over from Willer.
Yep, teleport immediately as well after that turret fell down as the arrow is going to connect, and that's a very dead Doran.
Macro error here from Gen G. You've got to respect the arrow that can come in from so far away in a situation like this. It's just such a deliberate setup play to leave the Aurelia here under turret, let the Cassiopeia push top. So a win on both sides of the map. Gen G with a single Drake.
Yeah.
Single Ocean Drake.
And, you know, a little bit of gold in the lead. But we're going to check this one out one more time. Oh, look at the position. Kyle?
The arrow.
Sorry, from Envy.
So clean.
That was almost a last hit with the arrow.
Yeah.
Well, Doran going to get punished for a bit of an overextension. Otherwise, not too much of a worry. Has his Pahage put together, as well as his Trinity Force.
Yeah, and heading back to the top side of the map. Baron is the really interesting conversation in these drafts because that's where the fireworks are really going to be. As one more time.
Another one! And this time it's going to connect on to Peanut.
No respect.
As cease and desist comes in, but Bertle's still going to be able to grab that kill. That is real comfy. And Gen G going to have to back away yet again. Liv Sandbox wrestling back control.
Gen G, you won the last game with an Ashe arrow. Okay, many Ashe arrows.
Yeah.
And then you just had this mistake a moment ago. Here we go, TP fight.
Yeah, how does Willer get himself out of this one is the question, as Jovi's going to come on over, and the answer is he doesn't. He just gets shot. And Pay's going to grab himself yet another kill. I believe that's 4-0 or 5-0, something like that for this Varus, who is 5-0. And he has the Prowler's Claw as well.
Prowler's Claw, so sick actually in this case.
You love to see it.
Really good into the Heimerdinger. You know, obviously if you find a Heimerdinger, you could do 3/4 of his health bar instantly, and then you just go on top of him and finish him off as he tries to retreat. Not a very mobile support. As yeah, this is part 2, this time from the mid lane.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, do we need a replay of the replay? But I guess we got a replay of the replay, so we could replay while we replay.
Yeah. As over here, Envy just a little bit too far up in the lane, and Willer's going to pay the price. Flash down as well on the Ashe here. Faster teleport comes through from Chovy. Cassiopeia nowhere to be seen, no TP. Just an easy kill here. For Gen G. So trading back and forth here, this game is so intense. You could feel the pressure on these players because this means so much for Liv Sandbox to win. But for Gen G, their position in the standings, they could get first place, you know, if they actually continue to win here. So it's a huge pivotal point for them as well.
Yeah, vying for top position, both of these teams, right? Like,
this is such an important game.
I mean, it's on them. T1 should be able to win their next series and reclaim that position, right? With the fact that their game score is a little bit higher, but still. This is just massive, especially for solidifying Liv Sandbox as a contender, right? Because there are a lot of us, myself very much included, Wolf, that just really struggled to become believers in this team.
You're in the, like, there's a lot of people in the Liv Scambox camp right now with like, this just isn't true. I don't believe.
Cannot be true.
4-1 with this roster, I just don't see it. But no, it's it just adapted very quickly. And most of us were putting this team in dead last before the season.
Yeah, I was really struggling.
Like it was, for most of us were like, it's very clear that there's some questions about what the bottom 5 will look like in terms of compared to each other, but we were like, yep, Liv Sandbox, so that's at the bottom. Nope, not to be the case. This is reminiscent of like if Hanwha Life last year had just been a top 3 team randomly. You know what I mean? And
or if Bro made playoffs. Oh wait, they did.
Crazier things have happened, but Liv Sandbox is only 2K gold down, a Drake up right now. They have a lot of really strong win conditions in team fights. This Aurelia's online.
Yeah. Do you remember when MVP went to Rift Rivals? Because they were top 4 in spring.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a League of Legends caster back then, but I heard every time at the bar. It was came up in conversation.
It would indeed. That is, miracles can certainly happen. But what Liv Sandbox are doing is they're proving that it's not a miracle, right? They're proving that they can do it consistently. And if they're able to win this game, which is proving difficult, but they're by no means out of it, this would be a huge step in that direction. It's a good sidestep from Willa, but he's still going to have to flash, get himself out of the way of it. Yeah, another tool down.
Really huge tool for the Wukong. Essentially an extra jump for his setup on his ultimate when he's trying to flank. Birdall does not have teleport, by the way, so is stuck down there on the bottom side. Really interesting teleport angle here for Doran. Just going to start up the Drake, or at least try to control this zone here.
This is another dragon that Liv Sandbox can very happily give up, though. So threatening a Baron with a Cassiopeia, right? Like,
yeah,
that is so much Baron damage.
Doran just teleported bottom side here against an Aurelia, and now the Aurelia's teleports back up. So I feel like this was not the right call for Doran. I don't know if it's going to matter here, but it very well might, because Liv Sandbox have really good vision control here, and Heimerdinger turret set up. Doran's got to walk.
Yeah.
He's walking up.
He has to immediately get back here, because otherwise they're just not going to be able to defend. And now the rest of Liv Sandbox can very happily move back towards the Baron.
Now, they don't know if Doran is doing this or if he's actually joining up. There's no vision on Doran right now. Nice control ward there.
Oh, I love this from Liv Sandbox. They had Bertel sit in the brush to pretend that he'd backed.
Yeah, now he's going to look to maybe take Doran out here.
Yeah, as Doran is looking to try and secure the dragon as best he can.
It's a tug-of-war game.
Are coming down. Arrow will connect onto the Gnar as Chovy will turn up. And
TP.
now the teleport immediately going to be used from Bertel. It's the do-si-do. The bait and switch.
Yeah, it's just a crazy back and forth macro move here, but Liv Sandbox just have complete vision control, but they don't have the damage just yet, and they haven't started this Baron. Gen G have plenty of time to get in.
Yeah, they certainly do. This could be a 50-50 unless Liv Sandbox manage to turn on a dime. We'll see whether they can. No Arrow is available for now. Cyclone is up, though. Vanguard's Edge is going to be there as the poke is raining true. And Pace getting a lot of damage across the Liv Sandbox roster as Arrow is going to connect. They're going to blow up the Gnar as best they can. He's very tanky, though, as he now looks to walk his way out. The Petrifying Gaze, not as scary as the name might suggest. As it turns out, as Envy, not going to get taken down by that Arrow.
Birdall still has ultimate here, not actually going to utilize it in this fight that just got zoned out. They're going to back off here and return to this, but only Closer has TP. Gen G actually clearing this wave here and will now get a little bit of prio. Surprised that Liv Sandbox don't actually stick to this one a little bit harder and actually commit further with the Aurelia ult. Watch this fight again. Birdall's off to the side, doesn't have the angle, and so many cooldowns are blown on this Gnar, and Doran gets his Mega, survives through both Wukong ultimates, and from that moment on, here, the gaze doesn't actually hit, and Birdall's like, well, I'm not ulting into this one. There's just too much damage there. Gnar survives. We have to back out.
That was some Ocean Drake value, I guess, at the end of that fight for Doran, but I think he went down to pretty close to single-digit HP.
Critically survives. He's now on the top side of the map here, trying to help clear up Baron Vision. Gen G have the choke point controlled here. Control ward next to Pays, not in the brush, unfortunately, will be replaced. One there at the entrance to the river. And so much of Liv Sandbox's comp is relying on, we can defend with our Arrow, we have the turn with the Aurelia, we have Heimerdinger turrets set up, which were very carefully and slowly cleared by Gen G before that last fight. So not a ton of damage or value out of Kyle, unfortunately. Soul's coming back online. This would be a completely different game, by the way, if it was an important Soul. This is what I was talking about last game. Like, if it wasn't Hextech Soul, there were different win conditions for Doran on the win. This is the kind of game we're talking about where, okay, if the Soul doesn't matter, we kind of do a little do-si-do.
Ooh, another Arrow. And another Arrow. You're exactly right. There we go. I mean, Ash's Arrow is like so much larger. Why doesn't she make any noise? She just sort of throws hers. Man.
She's a hunter. She's got to be silent.
Yeah, that's true. But Hayes got to get a new bow. Like if it's that tough, you can get one of the mechanical ones that has the wheels and things.
Varus
is difficult.
He's a thinker, man. He very thought-provoking.
Who am I going to hit with this?
Who takes all my lethality damage while I'm 3,000 gold ahead?
Yeah, well, he absolutely is that. He's the entirety of the Gen G gold lead. And that does kind of put a target on his head. Not that Liv Sandbox can accurately see it, but they can see the 500 and the not as many numbers in the left-hand column for anybody else. So I think focusing on trying to kill Pays is definitely going to be a good option. As, all right, Realm Warp going to deliver everyone. Petrifying Gaze comes in, but I think it was Closer that was scared as the whole crew turns up.
Yeah, just a slow rotation over from everybody. Birdall had TP. He's going to use it mid now because he's like, I got to rush my way over here, clear this wave. Maybe we can contest Baron, but really unfortunate here. Closer's picked. He's so much of this team's damage. going into this fight. Willer has ult and flash. Bertle's going to try to slow this down by taking a turret.
Well, cease and desist comes in. Bertle going to fight Peanut here, and the rest of the squad aren't quite grouped up in time. Peanut punches a minion. Vanguard's edge just to buy time. But there it is. Bertle's going to try and turn it on to Pays. That's a lot of money. But he gets stunned up and he will be taken down. That is 6-0-0 now for this Varus.
But it buys enough time for Liv Sandbox to regroup. Closer respawns here. And yes, Flash probably not really should have been used there by Bertle. It slowed them down and they wanted to get on the back line and kill that Varus because that would have been massive. But you know, we're nitpicking really to talk about that. This is the thing that starts it all off is Doran calls out, like, Closer's up here. He's got no flash, and the rest of the team is just way too far away. I've been tracking him for a while. And then this from Bertle is actually brilliant. He gets the turret, he buys a ton of time here. And I think if he either flashes away and survives, you love this. If he doesn't flash here and still survive, or like, you know, he still dies but he doesn't flash, you feel better about it, but he does flash and die. Still, buying enough time to prevent the Baron. Mission accomplished here. Stopwatch now ready for Closer. His ultimate's back online. He's got TP. This game is not over till it's over.
Nope, the fat lady ain't even getting ready to have a sing right now. Wolf.
This has been a great series.
It has.
I finally got one this season.
Man, Liv Sandbox really are the real deal, but they're going to have to show it in this late game as we cruise towards it. 30 minutes, very close on the clock, as this gold lead has not shifted in a very long time. It's Doran, the arrow, not going to connect. Ooh.
Man, these arrows just seem a little bit thinner than normal for Envy this game.
I think Doran might also be a cool kid, because he did not panic there either. Kyle, maybe he should have though, because Pace does so much damage. Meganar going to come in, and Liv Sandbox, they have to vacate the area. In the meantime, Peanut's just doing the Drake. That is sole point now.
Yeah, and I mean, you're caught on two fronts here as Liv Sandbox. I mean, one Ocean Drake is not a big deal. 3 stacked up plus Soul, that's a big deal. It's actually quite significant.
Oh yeah.
And Peanut's getting these objectives uncontested for free.
Ooh, I thought that wasn't going to hit. Hitbox question mark?
Closer, the spacing here is so good, he can't follow up. There's no follow-up damage here. Like, this is one of the problems with Ashe, the Imperial Mandate Ashe here, where you're like, I got the stun, maybe Closer goes in. Where's our AD carry? Where's our AD carry?
Yeah.
It's just too much utility, and it's not a pick comp. You need the Wombo to go off. You need Closer to stun 3 people with the big Wukong ultimate, and then the Aurelia comes through after the arrow starts the fight off. The complexity of the draft here for Liv Sandbox is so high.
Yeah, and you have to get them to come to you, right? Like, it is 100% one of those compositions. And that's why Liv Sandbox continually start off this Baron, because they need a reason for Gen G to walk into their trap. And if it's just Kyle dying from a million miles away, then that's not a trap anymore.
Yeah, it's just a dud.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And the Varus could not be more impactful this game than the Ashe. The Ashe is an arrow bot.
And Doran's getting hit by a lot of him, but he doesn't seem to mind too much as he's building some tanky stats.
If there's no follow-up damage, who cares if he gets stunned?
Yeah, true. I guess that's the 5-head play.
We need, like, Liv Sandbox needs to get a big old combo here. This just isn't going to work.
Oh, Wallop, Gnar into the wall. Closer taking a lot of damage. Petrifying Gaze going to try and take down Doran. He's very low. He tries to take the Realm Orb out and he escapes. Now Pays off to the side, but he presents a huge target. But maybe he's exactly the target that Gen G wants, distracting the rest of Liv Sandbox. There's the Prowler's Claw we were looking for, and the triple kill for Gen G, as they will now be able to break open the base, and this may have just been the back-breaking moment for Liv Sandbox.
I think it is. Liv Sandbox really want that fight. Peanut really wants to get out of that turret range.
Not a lot of minions just yet.
Yeah, I think if he dies there even, I don't think he cares that much. They don't even have Baron buff, and they're pushing to end. Death timer's here at 32 minutes, super long. Gen G with a valiant attempt in this series to close out a game without any disasters, and I think we can say this game went pretty well of the 3.
It absolutely did. Another kill, 10-0-2 for Pays on this Varus. Are we going to get 2 Varus POGs in this series? What a crazy thing to potentially occur, as Doran's going to step up. He's like, oh man, sick of taking arrows to the face. Why can't we ban Ashe?
Liv Sandbox really made them work for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They really did. And Doran did so much to peel for his squad here. It's a really difficult POG vote for me, to be honest, because I think in a lot of ways it's between Doran and Pays in this game. Chovy had some really clutch plays. His Realm Warp to stop the teleport top.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of options, but I think Pays...
I'm just going to go for Pays.
Without Pays doing all that damage, then they don't win the series.
And eventually it became a situation where Liv Sandbox had to just force bad fights to win, and they just couldn't do it.
Ruler, Jackie Love, Deft, and Pays. That is a decent
sick list
team to be a part of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pays is like, I'm happy to be alongside those names. I don't know why, but I am. It's a bit early. But maybe one day.
He already had a lot of fans, even when he was playing on the Gen G Challenger roster. This man has made a name for himself. There's a bunch of notoriety already. As Peanut, happy birthday. He will be able to pick up a win to celebrate.
Gen G ultimately, I think, more clutch in this series than Liv Sandbox. They made fewer mistakes in game 2 and 3, and Doran, in both games 2 and 3, really shaped the front line that seemed to be uncrackable for Liv Sandbox, especially once Closer couldn't do anything from behind on the Cassiopeia, couldn't get into range. There's no crazy wombo combo with Wukong and Cassiopeia ults. There's not enough damage with the Ashe. Turns out Ashe support seems to be the better of the two, the roles on the bottom side, because you still need that follow-up damage, and the Varus ruled the day.
He did. I really liked Envy's Varus in game number 1, but I did think that was a composition that shouldn't be allowed. Still, Liv Sandbox played it out very well, and they were very competitive in games 2 and 3 also. This is a team that I think we kind of got everything, right? We proved that Liv Sandbox deserves to be on the west side of the bracket. I ate my words very considerably on that front, but Gen G also showed that even though they lost Ruler, Pays and Delight are fantastic on that bottom side of the map, and they still are Doran, Peanut, and Chovy. Like, man, it can't be that bad, right? And so, obviously, this is a team contending for the top spot as well.
We have, T1 started the season off with a bang, right? Taking Gen G out 2-0, but you've got that on top of D+ Kia getting upset by Gen G, Liv Sandbox almost beating Gen G, D+ losing to Hanwha Life, or T1 rather losing to Hanwha Life. It's been a long time, but I think this season, it's been a long time in spring, let's say. This season we have like 5/ maybe 6 really good teams this early, and they're just going to get better. And then summer is going to be crazy. The LCK used to be very top-heavy, and this is something we've always been criticized for. We did meme like 2-team region a little bit earlier on in like week 2. But I got to say, this region's depth is really felt. And last summer, where we didn't think DRX were even going to Worlds. We're like, no, it's Liv Sandbox or KT. But wow, like the fact that we're talking about how they could do well is good. Then DRX wins the whole thing, and now we're like, okay, starting off Liv Sandbox almost beats Gen G. What a season, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gone from like our top 6, and then there's the rest, to now it's like you're in the LCK, and then there's the rest. I don't even know, man. Like, even Bro managing to pick up a 2-0 week in the first week of spring. There's, no one's really safe, and it means that every team here needs to make sure that they're bringing everything to every single series. There are no freebies. There are no freebies anymore.
Every game matters, and our region is hyper-competitive. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of growth to be had. This is the shot calling in the final moment here.
The Pays flank, and there's the Prowler's Claw. You love to see it. Finally, we managed to get it here as Gen G. That's a huge smile for Doran as well, deservedly, because he had a bit of a rough time.
I gotta say,